Greetings, Bat Family! Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Make sure you visit our website, holybatcast.com, or find us all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. You will find us. If you love the show, you want to help support us, you can do that on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/holybatcast. As always, a big ol' thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. Big hugs to all y'all out there, but I got to give a shout out to a couple other patrons here. We have a patron named Barty. It's just Barty, one word. Fun. He sounds like a good time. Barty, thank you so much. And also a longtime friend of the show who has just officially become a patron, Mr. James Mullins. Maybe it's because we answered his silly questions last time, and he's like, you know what, you guys, I owe you guys a couple bucks for dealing with me, so here you go. So thank you, James. Thank you, Barty. You guys are awesome. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us. And again, for everybody out there who has done it, y'all are the best. You make our lives so much easier. So thank you to you for doing that. And for everybody who doesn't do it, that's okay. We still love you anyway. We understand everybody's got their own thing, and you know, the top of your budget isn't necessarily Holy BatCast, and I completely respect that. Anyway, we're also part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host. It's Andy DiGenova. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram or on Letterboxd, because we started talking about that. It's just Andy DiGenova, my name. So this episode, we got a little bit of news, nothing earth-shattering, just a couple little things. So we're going to talk about those. The bulk of the episode is we are back to Batman Beyond with a two-parter. And because we don't have a lot of news, we're going to do both parts. So that is Batman Beyond The Call, parts 1 and 2. So hope you watch that. It's like a little mini movie. And then as always, we'll find out what's on your guys' mind and read some emails. Joining me for that, I got both of my Bat brothers back in the saddle. He just celebrated the 1-year birth of his son. Happy birthday to Henry. It's Brendan Lowe. Hey, Brendan.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
I am exhausted. It has been a big couple of days.
I mean, it looked like you had a fun birthday party. The cake looked good.
We did. Yeah. I mean, we were up till about 10 o'clock on Friday night doing that, and we covered it with, like, I don't know what you call them over there, sprinkles, hundreds and thousands, whatever. And we had them, like, they were everywhere in the kitchen. I mean, everywhere.
Did you make the cake?
Yeah, we made the cake.
Oh, okay. It looked very good. I would have thought you bought it.
No, we made it from scratch. So, yeah. And then, yeah, I was helping decorate it on Friday night. Like I said, it was just, there was sprinkles everywhere. I had to vacuum our kitchen, and pretty much our whole living area completely 3 times between, say, 8 and 10. It was like walking on the beach, but it was sprinkles.
That's kind of fun, though. Like, I would just leave it and live that way.
That, but,
yeah.
But no, look, it was good. We had a really good time, and he's just, having a bit of a sleep regression too, so Jess is coping it worse than I am, but even so, like, I am rooted today.
Okay, well, hang in there. Appreciate you staying awake for us. Get some coffee or something.
That's all good. I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so I wouldn't miss it.
That is true. It's been a minute. I was gonna say Harley just turned 2 months too.
Yeah, because she was the 22nd.
22nd. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So there's a day between them in terms of that.
Wow. Yeah. It's a big week for baby birthdays.
It is.
Anyway, Jamie is back as well. He's not celebrating any birthdays. He's just driving his kids around for all their activities because they're not babies anymore. They actually have lives.
I was going to say, y'all think the baby's a struggle, but wait till you have teenagers that are involved in after school and extracurricular activities, and then you'll know what tired is.
I can't wait.
Actually, you start being tired the night they get home, and you just don't stop until you give them the Samsonite birthday at 18 and kick them the hell out the door.
Well, only 17 years and 10 months to go.
Well, you know what? You've got your work cut out for you, sir, because I know how you hate being outdone. And Brendan and Jess hired professional opera singers to come to their house and sing happy birthday to their son for his first birthday. So good luck out doing that.
That's not true.
I will. I'm going to hire a mezzo-soprano from Brisbane and fly her out here to sing happy birthday to Harley when she turns 1.
He says
As
it's
long
not
as-
true,
as long
but
as they're
listen. I watched the
husbands
video. I
agree.
heard the singing. I know it's true. I caught the whole thing.
It sounded like a recording. It did not sound like live singing from people.
When your wife is a professional opera singer, and with that comes the friends and family who are also involved in that career, singing happy birthday at parties is it does sound a lot better than regular parties, let's put it that way.
Excellent. Well, they can just record one for me. I can just play it. Save on airfare.
Well,
It's
so
like a
if
broke
you're
version
gonna
of Cameo.
if you're gonna shell for Jess to come and sing, as long as her husband's included in that trip, that's fine. I can be on a rider.
Oh, okay.
She has to bring me along.
Anyway, Jamie, glad you're back as well. Glad we got the whole gang back together. Like we said, it has been a minute since Brendan was here. So thank you both. And we also have to take a moment to thank our pals over at Manscaped. It is still April. That means we are still celebrating Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know if celebrating is the right word, but we're acknowledging. Yeah, we're acknowledging and putting it out there. We are partnering with Manscaped for Testicular Cancer Awareness Month in April. So go to manscaped.com/TCS to learn more about some simple self-checks that you can do for yourself and share it with your friends and family. And then when you go to manscaped.com, as always, use the promo code BATSCAPED to get 20% off and free shipping. And you can also make a donation to the TCS Society at checkout. So, testicular cancer is no laughing matter, even though Manscaped somehow still finds a way to make it fun with their We Save Balls shirts, which I'm still waiting for mine. Still has not gotten here. But yeah, check yourself out, get checked out, and it's definitely worth it. And then manscaped.com, go out there, go shop and buy yourself something. And I got to tell you guys something. This week, I learned something that was pretty cool. I was running low on some supplies, some Manscaped supplies. So I went on the website, I went a little shopping, and they were having a sale. And I was like, this is so stupid. But I'm like, oh no, they're having a sale. Does that mean my Batscaped promo code isn't going to work? No, it works in addition to their sale.
Oh, nice.
So if you go to manscaped.com and you're shopping and there's something you want and they've got something marked down. So like right now, last month we talked about the Ultra Premium Collection, which is the shampoo, conditioner, the body wash, the deodorant, the lip balm, all that stuff, the lotion. That's currently, and I don't know how long it'll last, it's currently marked down by 30%. And then you put in Batscaped, you get another 20%. So I almost got it at half price. Not quite, because it was 20% off of the discounted price, so it's not a full 50%, but it was so close. So like it was an amazing deal. I got all this great male grooming product with 2 discounts. So if you go there and you're like, oh, they're already having a sale, no use putting in Batscaped, that is false. Put in Batscaped and you get an additional 20% off. You can't beat it. So if you've been on the fence, deciding whether or not you're going to commit to the Manscaped, go there, poke around, manscaped.com, see if anything looks good to you, whatever you're going to try. You can try one of the big value packs. You can try individual items. You can try this new Ultra Premium Collection. But even if it's marked down, use Batscaped for an additional discount and free shipping. You can't beat it.
That's a hell of a deal.
It was such a nice surprise because I honestly was like, well, I'm putting it in anyway because might as well. And I was like, oh, shoot, they gave me the extra 20%. So thank you, Manscaped.
That's a generous bunch of individuals.
I know. I can't wait. I might have to send it as a gift to someone else, just because right now it's such a good deal. Again, I don't know how long the discount is. I mean, Batscaped is always active, but the other discounted products, I don't know how long the sale is going. No clue. But man, this is the time. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it, and don't forget to use Batscaped for that discount. Because again, not only you're buying something for yourself, so you can smell nice, you can trim up, keep everything looking good, smelling good. You're also supporting Holy BatCast in the process, and we cannot thank you enough for that. So again, for those who are patrons, you guys are amazing. We love you. Keep doing it. But if you're one of those people and you're like, I'd love to, but I just can't right now, but you still need to buy deodorant, you still need to buy shampoo, you still need to buy those things, you might as well try out Manscaped stuff and use Batscaped because then it does support the show. So There you go. There's your pitch. Please do manscaped.com, and again, use Batscaped as the promo code, and throw in a little bit to support testicular cancer awareness this April. Please and thank you.
You know, if the people of Gotham would have used Manscaped's products through mail order and online, they might not have had the problem with Joker taking over the city and that grip of terror that he had by using grooming products and such.
Oh my God. You're right. The Smilex. The secret ingredient, Smilex. Manscaped is Smilex free. Thank goodness.
They should totally print that on all their products.
Oh my God,
I would buy more just for that reason.
Yep. That messy news anchor could use a little Manscaped himself. Anyway, let's move forward. Got a couple little news items again, nothing earth-shattering, but this one hit just like right after we recorded our last episode, so I was bummed we missed it, so I wanted to mention it. The Wonder Twins movie, which I'll be honest, I kind of forgot was happening. Was that just me?
No, yeah. It's one of those things where like I heard about it and I kind of like immediately put that on the shelf with, let's see if this really happens.
Yeah.
So I didn't make a mental note of keeping it around in my brain, you know?
The same. I heard it and I went, oh, that's fun. Ain't holding my breath. And I think I just moved on and forgot about it. But it's back, and it seems like it's moving forward at HBO Max because we actually have casting for the two Wonder Twins, for Zan and Jana. For Zan, it is KJ Apa from Riverdale, and for Jana, it is Isabel May from Alexa and Katie. I did recognize KJ Apa from Riverdale. I did not recognize Isabel May. But much like with most of these things, for me, it's like, oh, this is happening. I'm really excited about it. I really like the Wonder Twins. I'm into it. Brendan, did this take you by surprise?
Yeah, like you, I think I'd sort of forgotten about it. When the news broke, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then same as you, like I've never watched Riverdale, even though apparently I'm one of the cast. But I... Peacemaker fans will get that one. But yeah, I mean, look, I'll check it out. And I've never seen the female lead in anything, but based on the publicity photo I saw of her, I'm keen to see more, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
She's a very attractive specimen.
Jamie, what do you think?
I'm certainly intrigued by it. I mean, I'm not going to claim to be like the Wonder Twins Uber fan, but First things first, Gleek is the most important element of this movie.
Yeah, who's playing Gleek?
I mean, if it's not Andy Serkis, it's a fail right there. But that's beside the point. No, I'm interested in this. And I know the Wonder Twins have kind of become, you know, kind of like what Aquaman was before his movie, you know, like the butt of jokes. But, you know, it's based on the cheesy Super Friends cartoons from back in, you know, the late 70s and how they were portrayed there, which I always kind of liked them on that anyway. But of course, I was the right target audience for that show at the time. I read some of the most recent Wonder Twins series that was published by DC, and it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek book, but it was still really well written and it was a lot of fun. If this movie takes that kind of approach, I really think that they can, you know, turn something out that'll be entertaining and worth everyone's time to check out. I'm not looking forward to this like I would, you know, a Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman movie, but I mean, I'm there. I'm interested in seeing it. I don't know these actors that have been cast from Adam, so I mean, I can't say one way or another about that. But no, I'm into this. It's unique. It's something that nobody's done in the realm of comic book films, and those kind of things these days are kind of tougher to come by. So when something comes along that is a little bit more unique or fresh feeling or what have you, it certainly has my attention.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I've always loved the characters because they've always been a little silly. They're always meant to be. Like, they never were supposed to be some sort of serious, dark, gritty superhero. They were goofy in Super Friends, which was a goofy Saturday morning cartoon in the 70s. And then, like you said, the recent series, the comic series from DC, I really liked it because it was a little more serious, but without losing the fun aspect of it. And I think that you can just have a lot of fun with the Wonder Twins. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was on, I don't remember if it was Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. They did sort of an update of the Wonder Twins and that. They didn't call them the Wonder Twins, but they were obviously that, and that was really cool too. So, I don't know, it's one of those things where like I never thought I'd live to see the day where there's a Wonder Twins movie, but I'm super excited that there is because I think it could be a lot of fun. And as we've talked about in the past, like this is the sort of random fun stuff that you can do at HBO Max, where it doesn't have to be a $500-700 million movie. Like it can be on HBO Max and they can take some risks with it. So I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm psyched that it's happening. The writer of Black Adam, oh my God, his last name, Adam Sidzekiel, something like that. Man, there's a lot of consonants and not a lot of vowels. He is writing and directing it for HBO Max. So I also like that he's coming from another big DC project and is taking this on. I don't know him well either, but it's cool that he came from Black Adam and they liked his work well enough that they're giving him a shot with this. So for me, I'm psyched. Bring on the Wonder Twins as far as I'm concerned.
I think we're pretty much on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, why the hell not? It'll be a good time. Speaking of HBO Max and things I forgot about, remember they were developing another Constantine series?
Vaguely.
Yeah, exactly. Vaguely. So this seems like it's now moving forward as well. It seems like they might have found their new John Constantine. It is actor, and again, this is a name, Soapy Derisu. He's from Gangs of London. Also, I don't know him. He is a black man. And I remember we heard that for this Constantine reboot, he was going to be a person of color. It seems like that is still the case. And then here is the possible log line for the series. It says the series blends urban action, body horror, and the supernatural on the streets of modern day London. Follows a young man whose entire world is upended when a chance encounter with a young girl pulls him into the dark and treacherous world of the occult. And so they're still casting additional roles, much like Wonder Twins. Not really familiar with this actor, but I like the character of Constantine. I think I've said this in the past too, is it amazes me how much Constantine content we've had in the past 10 years. And I'm not complaining. I'm down for it, but it's just like of all the DC characters, we just get lots of Constantine, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a little surprising. So, yeah, Jamie, how do you feel about this?
I'm okay with it. I mean, honestly, this isn't one that I'm jumping up and down with excitement for, but obviously it's something that, Peacemaker was something I didn't think I'd like worth a crap, and I wound up enjoying most of what I saw there. So Constantine is less egregious to me than what, the James Gunn edge of the DC universe was. So I'll watch this and see what shakes out of it, but it's one that I'm kind of scratching my head and going, I wonder what they're going to do with it. Than it is, ooh, I can't wait for this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The body horror element. Body horror is one of those things that creeps me out, but I still really enjoy it. So I'm intrigued to see what element of that they bring to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. What about you, Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a character that I didn't know a hell of a lot about until the last few years. I think, because of his TV, like his solo TV show that was it on Fox?
NBC.
NBC, then his inclusion into the CW stuff, movies like Justice League Dark, things like that. I mean, yeah, he's a pretty kick-ass character. I've never read a scrap of him in the comics or anything, so my knowledge is just coming in from the TV stuff from the last 7-8 years, whatever it is now. I noticed too during the week you said about there being a lot of Constantine content. There's a new DC Showcase Constantine. I think it's Constantine in the House of Mystery that's been released.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but just, when you said about Constantine content, I'm like, yeah, actually shit, there's something new that's just come out too. But yeah, I mean, if it goes ahead, like I'll definitely check it out. It's, the shows that they've given us so far, with HBO Max / what was the DC Universe streaming service have all been decent quality, and I've watched all of them to some extent. I've haven't watched any of the new Doom Patrol, but I did watch the first 2 seasons and it was really good as well. So if it's to that quality, bring it on. I'll check it out.
I'll say this much. Instead of London, and I have nothing against London, London can have a really gothic look and feel that would suit it well, but I'm just a little sad that it's not going to take place in, say, I don't know, New Orleans, so the possibility of Swamp Thing can show up.
You were going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's asking too much to get the Swamp Thing show back in its full glory, but having him show up with Constantine, I think, is something that could work.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it did feel like this, this reboot was maybe another attempt to start building the blocks for another Justice League Dark. I guess this is where I'm coming from, is like, am I interested? I am. Will I watch it? Of course. And I hope it's good. And I have no issue with race swapping him. That doesn't bother me. That kind of stuff never does. I just feel like, did we need to start from scratch? That's where I'm at. Like, we already have, Matt Ryan is just such a perfect Constantine, and maybe he's ready to hang it up. And if so, great. I just am like, why not give him another crack at it? He's been playing the part for years now, and he's just perfect. It's hard for me to let go when we've already got the perfect Constantine and start new. Because, like, are we ready to start new? I mean, it's their prerogative. They can if they want, but that's just where I stand.
I would imagine at the very least, they probably figure, since they are starting fresh, they're going to start fresh from the very ground foundation up.
Yeah, I know.
So there's no confusion between, the Matt Ryan solo show and the Legends appearances and what like that. They're probably just trying to make it its own thing and not cause any kind of public confusion with that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because, if you use Matt Ryan, then it's at least part of the CW universe, and I guess this is a cleaner break. And I'll tell you, I'll throw myself, on the grenade. Is when Arrow was announced, I said the same thing. I was like, why aren't they just using Justin Hartley? Why aren't we just giving him his own show? Why are we casting this new guy? What's his name? And then I was wrong. It was the right call. Stephen Amell was amazing as Arrow, and I understand why they did it in hindsight. But at the moment, I was like, we already have a great Green Arrow. Let's just keep using him. And I'm still there, but I'm sure once I see this, maybe it'll all make sense. And maybe it is just getting a clean start and sort of building a new little corner of the DC universe from scratch using Constantine here, the supernatural corner.
And plus, doing it this way, we got Justin Hartley in Bad Moms Christmas. And yes, now from now on, every episode, I'm going to reference.
I mean, thank God. We can all be so grateful.
On the other hand,
it's on Netflix, so you can watch it for free right now.
Like, it's not like we've had to say goodbye to, actors playing characters who were perfect previously.
Well, yeah,
I'm ready.
Somebody just had to kick that door open, didn't they? Shame on you.
I'm just saying, like, we should be pretty used to it by now.
Look, you're saying what we're all thinking. I was just trying to stay quiet about it,
Yeah. There's a reason I didn't use that example, but thanks anyway.
It's all right.
So we'll see how it goes. The other interesting thing is they said they're supposed to start filming in the fall, so sooner than later. Away we go.
That's pretty fast track then.
Yeah, exactly. Something that doesn't seem fast-tracked, which makes me a little sad, is Wonder Woman 3. So we knew that an article was coming out in Forbes, which was an interview with Gal Gadot, and there was like a little bit of speculation online that it was going to include some news about Wonder Woman 3, but honestly, the update is kind of a non-update, which is a bit of a bummer. But Patty Jenkins was actually on the interview. She did call in, and this is what they said. They said, "We can't wait to get the next Wonder Woman movie out, too." And Godot said, "We're talking. We're actually in the mix of working on the script and getting the third one made. So it's all wheels are working and turning, and I'm super, super excited for fans to come and watch Wonder Woman 3 once it's made." So,
Shit.
Yeah, I really was hoping they were like, this. I wanted something more concrete than this, which is we're talking. It's great that you're talking. I'm sure you guys talk a lot, but I'm very much looking forward to another Wonder Woman film, and I was hoping for something that will, something a little more substantial, but hey, we'll see how it goes. I'll take what I can get. So the timeline on Wonder Woman 3 remains just as elusive as it was last week.
So long as
Yeah.
this next one is Wonder Woman 1989 and it's just basically them standing in line for Batman.
Oh
I'm
my
cool with
God,
it.
that would be really fun.
But seriously though, I'm a little disappointed in this. Like I was anticipating a gap for this movie because, and I was okay with it because Patty Jenkins was going to do that Rogue Squadron film,
Yeah.
which I was like uber excited about because I love the Rogue Squadron comics and stuff like that. I thought they were a really good time, and it's a way to expand on the Star Wars universe and give us something fresh on that angle. But now, since that's apparently in limbo, I figured, okay, maybe they'll just go back and do Wonder Woman 3, and apparently they're just not in as much of a hurry to do that as I would hope.
Yeah, same. I think that's what we all thought once that Rogue Squadron thing sort of just went on hold. It was like, oh, well, then maybe Wonder Woman 3 will move up to the forefront. It seems like that hasn't happened. So we just have to wait and see.
Cleopatra still a thing?
I don't know.
I feel like I've heard it talked about, but never from Jenkins or Godot.
Okay.
There's
She was
even
great
less
in
news
Death
on
on
that
Island.
than there is on Wonder
I'll tell
Woman
you
3. So, yeah, wait and see. But something that has been made, and we've been talking about it, is Batgirl. So Leslie Grace just did an interview with Variety and said some cool things about Batgirl. So first they talked about the possibility of a sequel, and she said there's definitely some talks of what it could be. We've already been talking about where do we take this from here, and because there's so much that happens in this film, there are a lot of different themes in the plot that we touch on. It's not just the action, there's a love story, there's this father-daughter relationship, there's looking at the world through a lens that isn't just black and white, and seeing the color and the spectrum between things. And then they also asked her about working with Michael Keaton, and she said it was wild for everyone. Our directors were like two little kids. They're legit Batman nerds, openly. He's Batman, man. I couldn't even believe that I was sharing space with Batman. I want to say more, but I can't. It was insane, surreal, incredible. It was the stuff of dreams, really. So, again, not a lot of concrete info, but excited to hear that they're talking about sequels already, that there's a lot of potential to do more Batgirl after this one. And, of course they geeked out about seeing Michael Keaton as Batman. Who wouldn't? I know I would.
She's saying all the right things.
Yeah. And she has been since, day one.
Day one.
So I'm so psyched for this film, but still no news on a release date. But I'm so excited. I hope it's great. I'm glad they're talking sequel, or just at least have their heads in that direction. And yeah, very cool.
I want to say that I really hope that this other movie that's allegedly supposed to happen doesn't have an effect on Batgirl's release date. But as many people have pointed out, how can it not?
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of tempered my excitement about Batgirl because I don't want to be foaming at the mouth for something that I'm going to have to wait a year or however long more to get. And I know that's petty and greedy and everything else, and we're spoiled ass brats when it comes to this content, but this is a movie I've really wanted for a very long time, and the fact that it's finally happening is delightful to me. But if we have to be in a holding pattern, I'm not pleased with that.
Yeah, I know, and it is
Not
a
to bring
shame
the
that
room
we
down, but,
No, I know, but yeah, it's a shame that we don't have a release date, and we're just sort of waiting and seeing what that is. But the movie's been made; they're in post-production, so we shall see. I'm still psyched for it. I want it sooner than later.
I guess the simplest solution to me, and I don't know what the plans are, so I can't say, but if she's just naturally a part of Keaton's universe anyway, but there's all kinds of things that were pointed out to me when I suggested that really can't be the case because of J.K. Simmons and what have you. But
Yeah, that's just it. I was actually thinking the same thing as you were talking. Is I'm like, well, maybe they could just release it and just go. It takes place in Keaton's Batman universe, but because of J.K. Simmons, that doesn't really work. Can't do it that way.
So anyway, yeah, I'd love to see a Batgirl movie. Sooner the better.
All right, Brendan, anything to add?
Not really. No, as you said, she didn't give too much concrete information. But like I said, she's saying all the right things to keep us excited. And yeah, it just sucks that what could be going on with other movies is going to impact us seeing this one any sooner.
Oh, and I did not pull this up, but you just made me think of it, is apparently they're going to do some reshoots for both Shazam 2 and Black Adam.
Okay.
Which makes me wonder, are they going to shoot some stuff that makes more of an overt connection between the films? Because weird that the two would be lumped together as reshoots for both films.
I'm okay with it.
When's Black Adam being pushed to?
Oh, man.
It's still this year, isn't it?
I want to say October.
I think that's right.
But I can tell you.
It didn't get pushed as far.
Yeah.
October 21st. Yeah. And then Shazam 2 is Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Because I knew Shazam was moved forward, and then Black Adam had been pushed, but not as far as the other ones.
Yeah, Black Adam went from July to October, and then Shazam 2 came up to December. So
interesting.
Just strictly out of curiosity, have you guys been able to avoid the Shazam 2 spoilers?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Bless your hearts. I wound up stumbling across it not once but twice, so I thought to myself, they're going to ruin this for everybody. And I'm glad to hear that they didn't. So.
Well, I don't know what we're talking about. Like, I've heard a rumor of a particular cameo, but I don't know.
That's part of it.
Okay.
I think if we're reading the same lines there.
But I feel like we've even talked about that on the show, so I feel like that's not a big spoiler.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to be the one that spoils it for anybody. So
yeah,
let's just say I'm glad that everybody didn't get spoiled like I did.
All right, but anyway, interesting. Something kind of cool. It could be nothing, but it could be something. And again, it's weird that they were like, oh, reshoots for both films are happening, because it makes me think that there's some connection there. Anyway, that's it for news.
There should have been a connection anyway, but if they want to deepen the connection, cool.
Well, I think that's it. My guess is there already was, but it would make a lot of sense to go in and go, no, we want a little more, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Agreed.
So, all right, that's what I got for news. Easy peasy. Anything else I missed?
That I can think of.
All right, great.
No.
Cool. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about a little Batman Beyond. This one is a two-parter. We're getting really close to the end of the series, guys. Really close. 5
more episodes after this, and one of those is actually 2 of those are another two-parter.
2 of them?
Just 2 episodes.
More. Oh, yes. 2 episodes.
5 episodes left, and that includes another two-parter.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, correct.
Like something about the Curse of the Cobra King or some shit like that.
Curse of the Cobra.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's, like I said, we're going to do both parts of The Call. So if you guys have not watched it, fire up HBO Max or your DVDs or your Blu-rays or wherever you get your Batman Beyond. Watch The Call, because here we go. It is Batman Beyond The Call, parts 1 and 2. All right, so The Call, this one was directed by Butch Lukic. The story was by Paul Dini and Alan Burnett. Just legends. But it was actually written by Rich Fogel, Hilary Bader, and Stan Berkowitz. Part 1 aired on November 11th of 2000, and then Part 2 a week later on November 18th of 2000. So it's The Call because Terry Batman, gets the call to join the Justice League. We have Justice League of the Future. Superman is still leading them, but he is joined by Warhawk, Green Lantern, Barda, Micron, and Aquagirl. So we have the Justice League of the Future, and they think that they could use a little bat action in their team, or at least Superman does. So Superman comes, he recruits him. He and Bruce have a moment, and Bruce is like, it's up to Terry if he wants to do it. So Terry joins the Justice League, and it seems like there is maybe a traitor in their midst. Micron has a horrible accident where it's kind of touch and go for him. They get pulled into more fights. And as this happens, it looks like Warhawk might have been killed. And doing a little detective work, it looks like, and this is spoilers, guys, if you haven't watched it, it looks like it was Superman. Looks like Superman could be the traitor, but could there be something else going on here? Spoilers, there is. Turns out Superman is under the influence of Starro the Conqueror, and Starro has been working as Superman for years to set up a full-scale invasion, eventually takes over the entire new Justice League. And Batman, it leaves up to Terry's Batman to save them all and free them of Starro, and then as a team, they manage to stop the invasion and get all of the Starros, back to their home planet where they can cause no more harm. And in the end, they're like, you know what? We could use this Batman. He's a good guy. He's very useful. And Terry's like, you know what? I'm actually a lot like Bruce. I'm good. I'm good for now. And so the call, you could almost call it Justice League Beyond for these 2 episodes. So, Jamie, I'm very curious. What are your thoughts on the call?
First thing I'm going to throw out is, silly as this may be, I love what they call the Justice League in the future. Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's cool as hell. I mean, it even sounds a little silly rolling off the tongue and everything, but I still love the wink. I think it's really cool. Did they ever make action figures for Batman Beyond stuff? Because if they did, I'd really love to have action figures of most of this Justice League.
They definitely made them of Batman Beyond stuff. I don't know if they ever made figures of this Justice League.
I'm going to guess not, because this was like the tail end of the run. So I imagine it fell out of public favor by then or what have you. But I think this is a really cool Justice League. I mean, Warhawk is a badass. Aquagirl is terrific. Like I say, I'm not really thrilled about the aesthetic of Green Lantern here, but, you know, Green Lantern's a Green Lantern. Micron was cool, voiced by my boy Wayne Brady. That man does not get enough respect. I love Wayne Brady to death, even before his appearance on Chappelle's Show. But when I saw him on Chappelle's Show, that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. My wife and I watched that episode like 20 times and laugh at it every time.
I knew that was going to come. As soon as I knew his name, I was like, oh, someone's going to say it.
I read his name in the credits at the end, and I'm like, is Micron going to have to choke a bitch?
There you go. There you have it. You know what's crazy is we were talking about Wayne Brady today, because one of Wayne Brady's first jobs was he was singing Dracula at Universal Studios Florida.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just funny because like maybe a few weeks ago, a video of him as Dracula in the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review show was making the rounds on Twitter, and he actually shared it and was like, hey, you know, for all you actors out there is, you know, get a job at a theme park because you learn work ethic like you wouldn't believe. And I just love that he's so proud of that. And it was from the era when I first came here, so there's a very good chance I saw Wayne Brady as singing Dracula in Beetlejuice's Graveyard Review.
Fantastic.
But yes, he's great. He's great. He's an Orlando theme park guy, so what's not to love?
He's so talented.
Yeah.
He is. If anybody has ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? I mean, everybody on that show is usually great, but I mean, he is every single time up amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the newest iteration of that with Aisha Tyler as the host is on HBO Max right now for anybody that wants to check that out. But anyway, Batman Beyond. I really like these 2 episodes. I liked them a lot. I would dare say they're some of my favorites of the entire series to date.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only real issue that I can come up with, and this is petty, and I don't mean to disrespect this actor because I really love him too, is I'm a little sad that it was Christopher McDonald voicing Superman instead of was it
Tim Daly?
Yeah.
Or George Newbern.
Yeah. So
yeah, I thought that was interesting too, because when I heard his voice, I was like, I know that voice, but it does not sound like Tim Daly or George Newbern. And then when
That's how I knew he was the bad guy, because it's Shooter McGavin. It's like,
exactly.
Come on.
Well,
Christopher McDonald, though, I mean that
he's
guy,
great. He's great, and he even if I wasn't comparing him to Tim Daly or George Newbern, I think he's a great Superman voice.
No, no disrespect to what he did in the part. It's just,
why are you disrespecting Christopher McDonald?
Yeah,
he's a treasure. He's listening to this right now, and he feels really bad. And I hope you're proud of yourself.
The fact is, he eats pieces of shit like me for breakfast.
He does. He eats pieces of shit for breakfast.
Just quickly with the voice cast, it was pretty genius. Did you see who voiced Aquagirl?
It's amazing.
It's Jodie Benson.
It's the Little Mermaid is Aquagirl.
Yeah,
which is
great.
So good. I agree. I was like, that is so awesome.
that was lost on me, so I didn't know that.
There you have it, Jodie Benson, The Little Mermaid. Yes, I thought that was amazing too.
The situations, the action, the general story itself. I mean, everything just clicked with me in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, again, I would definitely put this, lumping the 2 episodes together as one. I would say this is probably easily top 5 for me of this series.
Excellent. Brendan, what did you think? You were the one who was mad that we were making you do this.
I wasn't actually mad. No, look, I'm sort of with Jamie on this one. I thought it was good. I think the story was a little bit predictable. I made a joke about knowing it was Superman just because of the voice cast, but I kind of knew from the get-go it was going to be Superman. Like, who else would it be? Because if it was any of the other characters, it wouldn't have really had much of an impact because they were new. But if it was Superman, then that's a story. So I kind of picked that very early. But then I kind of knew it's like, well, he's not just going to be bad. Like, there's got to be some reason for it. I didn't expect it to be Starro. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, so none of it really surprised me. But it was good. It did. I mean, I thought them referring to them as the Justice League Unlimited was a bit on the nose. Because
it was, but that doesn't mean it wasn't cool.
Your mom's a bit on the nose. On my nose.
They'd still just be the Justice League. Yeah, I mean, the thing too, like Superman still being there, because he doesn't age like everyone else. It's like, well, Wonder Woman, I guess, should technically still be there too.
She's probably heading up another faction of the Justice League because it's unlimited. I would guess there would be all other offices. She's heading up Justice League Europe or something. Or
she might have went back to Themyscira or who knows, but the replacement of Wonder Woman being Barda, I thought was a pretty inspired move.
Yeah, I thought that was so creative and actually made a lot of sense. When she said it, she said something about like whatever, an apocalypse, slaves on apocalypse, and I was like, oh crap, is that Barda? And then they confirmed it, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really smart choice for essentially the Wonder Woman slot.
Yeah. But I mean, look, that's just a little nitpick. But I honestly, I can't really say too much more than what Jamie hasn't already touched on it, because it wasn't just it wasn't random villain of the week who I meant to give a crap about. It dived more into the world of DC that I'm familiar with, although with sort of that futuristic twist. Yeah, I'd probably say top 5, maybe top 3 for me. Yeah, I dug it. I thought it was cool.
All right.
Also, quick shout out to my favorite villain created for this show, Ink, showing up at the beginning.
Yeah. I thought that was great. Little Ink introduction action scene.
An ink blot, if you will.
Right. And I feel like the last time we saw Ink, it was that episode with her daughter where they left it sort of ambiguous at the end whether or not Ink had survived. And sure enough, here she is. She's back, causing trouble again.
And that's got to be close to her appearance that makes her like the most consistent villain of the show, other than maybe Powers or whatever the heck his name was.
Yeah. She is one that I think has had one of the most staying power of the villains created for the show. Yeah. It's funny because when we were planning to do this, I was like, oh, this is a good one. This is a good 2-parter. And then I watched it and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen this before. So like I knew what it was. I knew it was like, oh, it's Batman Beyond with the Justice League of the Future. I remembered that, but I remembered nothing about these episodes, which makes me believe I didn't actually see these episodes. I might have just known them by reputation because this Justice League shows up again in the Justice League animated series, Unlimited.
Yeah. That's where I kind of knew them from.
Yeah, so they show up in Justice League Unlimited Season 1, and I think that's what I had seen, and I thought that was these episodes, and it's not. It's JLU episodes.
I don't remember that, but it's been a long time since I rewatched Justice League Unlimited, too.
Yeah, so this will not be the last time you see them for if we ever get around to Justice League Unlimited, but I just remember this Justice League from that, and I just assumed I had seen the Batman Beyond episodes. Apparently I hadn't, but I agree with you guys. I think I mean, I actually say stronger than Brendan. Brendan still seems a little, pretty good. I think these are great. I think this is an awesome two-parter. I love these episodes. I was super into them. I thought it was cool as hell. I like that, we've spent this much time now with Terry as Batman. Like, him getting that call from the Justice League makes a lot of sense. I like that they included Superman. I agree that the voice change was a little bit off-putting. And again, that's not to say Christopher McDonald, it wouldn't be a great Superman voice. It was just weird that it wasn't the same. I liked this selection of characters for the Justice League. I liked the mystery of, who is the traitor. And then when they reveal it to be Superman, I did go, oh no. And I liked that it was Starro. I think that actually made a lot of sense too. I think these are great. They're great characters. It's great DC world building. I like checking in with this Justice League in the future to see what's happening with them. I also thought Micron was a really cool new character, and he has a really awesome action scene at the beginning. It's the one that takes him out of commission. But I thought he was really cool, sort of a future version of the Atom. And then when he saves their asses because they think he's unconscious, that was pretty cool too, as he's able to muster just enough strength to save them. I thought that was really great. And the fact that it all culminates in the Fortress of Solitude is really great too. And the backstory with, and it's in a lot of different versions of Superman where he has that zoo of creatures from around the universe. I liked them playing into that, and that he would have had Starro, and Starro got the best of him on one day. And yeah, I just think it's a great story for everybody. And especially
that Kryptonian zoo,
isn't it?
What?
The zoo thing feels really consistent to the Superman animated series. For some reason, I feel like that was played on in there. So.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or just with you said about the story, I was like, well, that's Dini. Like, that's that shouldn't surprise us when he's involved.
For sure. And I knew I was in good hands as soon as I saw Paul Dini and Alan Burnett, because these are two of the guys who were the shepherds of Batman the Animated Series. So them doing this Justice League two-parter for Batman Beyond, I was pretty confident anyway. And yeah, I think it's awesome. I really liked everyone in this. I thought it was great.
So the person, alien, whatever we're going to call him, that had Starro on board the ship that was going around collecting, did they call him the Collector or a Collector? Like, I don't feel like they ever actually named him specifically.
They didn't. They called him something like that, but it wasn't like it was a proper name.
Like, I feel like it might be a small missed opportunity, even though it was such a small bit part of not using Brainiac for that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I thought that too, but I did wonder. I'm like, and someone who knows someone who knows Superman the Animated Series better than I might be able to say, like, is this a callback to that? Like, was that guy in Superman the Animated Series? I don't know it well. I have seen the whole thing, but it's been years.
Same.
Maybe that's why.
Could be.
But even that, like, getting the flashback of Superman circa his animated series was really cool in this.
Yeah, definitely. And for as quick as they played that flashback off, I mean, it's obviously an important and effective piece. I enjoyed it. I mean, there wasn't really, again, anything that I have to complain about with these episodes at all. Just, maybe a nitpick or two here or there, but it felt so right to me. Like the new Justice League felt right. Mm-hmm. Just the right amount of Terry, and obviously Terry's the focal character of the show, but sometimes I get really bored when Terry is all we're focusing on. So the fact, I mean, I know that sounds harsh to fans of this show, and I'm sorry, but you guys have heard me say it time and again over the last couple of years. He's just not my thing.
Yeah, I get that.
So the fact that he was used and focused on, but he, like, so much other stuff was around to help support him, to me, makes it a stronger and more compelling story.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to hear anybody ever again talk to me about Frank Miller being the only one that makes Superman and Batman contentious with each other. That argument died today with me watching these episodes. I don't ever want to hear it again.
Well, I mean, it's always been where they're the best of friends, but almost like Batman and Catwoman, but they deep down their values are just different enough that they're always a little bit at odds. But I even like that, it calls back to Batman always having a little kryptonite on hand just in case, and then how that factors in. I also got to say, there's some really great animation in this, especially when Terry is like holding the kryptonite and the whole bat suit is just reflecting the green. It's just really cool looking.
That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that too.
My favorite piece of animation in the entire two-parter is when Bruce opens up the bookshelves or whatever that is to get back to where the kryptonite was, and the cobwebs are just like dangling on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a beautiful detail.
Yeah.
Because it's just saying he hasn't been in there for years. There's been no call for him to even think about going in here and doing this. I don't know, little details like that just always impress me, and I just thought that was amazing and looked really eerie. Kind of had that Halloween feel to it.
Well, and it was one of those things where as soon as Bruce goes back there and he starts talking about it, and he says something about like, oh, this isn't the first time I've had to worry about Clark or Superman or whatever. And I was
not the first time he went rogue.
Yes, that's not the first time Superman's gone rogue. And and as soon as he opened that door, I was like, oh, it's coming. Well, he's always ready.
I knew that kryptonite would be involved somewhere, but I kind of thought maybe it could have been like the battle armor suit.
Oh, really?
Just for a second, because I was like, oh, Jamie's going to lose his mind, and I'm like, oh no, it's just the kryptonite. But
it's the kryptonite.
Like I thought it might have been like the kryptonite and the suit together. But yeah, no, it was still cool though.
Yeah, that would have been an automatic A+ episode.
That's what I was thinking when all the stuff was opening up. I'm like, oh, I wonder if Jamie's going to lose his mind here.
Well, and the scene earlier on when Clark and Bruce are reunited, I really like that scene. And honestly, I could have used more of it, but I get it. They only have so much time. But I liked it because it was still like this conversation between old friends, but just with just a little bit of tension there. And I thought that was so well done. And I loved how Bruce was just like, yeah, I could use some of that Kryptonian DNA. And the way Superman's like, oh, you'll outlive us all. You're too stubborn to die. I mean, there was a really great interaction between the two of them. I enjoyed that.
It was nice back and forth. And that feels very consistent with the animated crossovers that we've had with them over the years and what have you.
Well, and Terry just kind of basking in it, like just sitting back and smiling.
Bruce even says like, "What are you smiling at?" or something like that.
Yeah, he's just like, "Wow."
So you got to remember too, this predates both Justice League animated series as well.
Yeah,
so their relationship is only somewhat established in that that
wow
sort of,
I guess that's true.
Universe. Like,
yeah,
we don't really see it till the years that follow this show. So
yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that. Like, because I just in my mind,
we know what we know.
Right.
Like came first.
Yeah, we knew there were two other series of them interacting, and so my brain made this, filled in those gaps. But you're right. This all happened before that.
I didn't piece that together, but serious credit to everybody involved for being able to, what's the word? It's not backpedal or something like that, but call back to this episode with that, or at least this portrayal of the relationship.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to that effect, there's no way it would have been George Newbern, because George Newbern didn't take over Superman until the Justice League series.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, so never mind.
When was Superman the animated series? That was the late 90s?
That was between Batman the animated series and this, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tim Daly was still around, I'm just saying.
Yeah, because there was a time where the Superman animated series and then it was the season 4 of Batman the animated series where they overlapped, because then it was the Batman Superman hour or whatever, where they were going concurrently, and that would have been like 95.
Okay.
But yeah, Tim Daly would have still been around, and I don't know if maybe they just were like, well, it's been however many years it's been. What's it been, 50 years at this point? So who knows?
Well, I mean, they still got the same voice actor for Batman 50 years later. I'm just saying. But all things considered, Christopher McDonald did a very nice job. I don't have any complaints about the performance. Just, again, that's a nitpick thing that they didn't have the consistency of the voice actor there.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a great two-parter. Another one that you could kind of say, oh, it's almost like its own little mini movie. It's not too long. whatever, it's like 45 minutes to watch them both, but they go by quick, and I really enjoy it because it is not just Batman and Batman Beyond, but it's the greater DC universe here, because incorporating Starro, like, what very cool stuff, going to the Fortress of Solitude and everything. Yeah, I think it's great.
And thinking about it now, I almost wish this would have been another movie along the lines of like Return of the Joker.
Yeah.
Where they would have thrown another 20 minutes or so of material in there and just really gave it that fleshed out feel. And I'm not saying they didn't do a fine job with the time allotted, don't get me wrong, but I like this presentation so much, to spend another 20 minutes with it would have certainly been welcome.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing I said about the Ra's al Ghul episode, is like, I felt like there was enough material there that it could have at least been a two-parter, if not a movie. And this is a two-parter, and it's great. But yeah, I don't think it would have taken a lot to turn it into a movie. Because yeah, there's a lot of stuff here they could have played with. And I just got to say real quick, I agree with you that like Warhawk, what a great character design.
Heck yeah. I think they were all good. The only one I'm really kind of scratching my head with is the Green Lantern, and I really, really, really feel like whoever threw out that suggestion was basing it off the kid that gave Neo the "there is no spoon" speech in The Matrix. Little, meditative, bald, tiny voice, very calm, relaxed, almost like a Zen type of mentality. That's really what I got the vibe of watching that Green Lantern. And again, with what Green Lantern was doing here, and some of these characters just didn't get a lot of time, and Green Lantern was one of them, but still doing the cool Green Lantern stuff, putting up shields and saving people when the buildings were under attack with the bombs and what have you. I mean, everybody got their time to do something there. I don't know. I just, a young bald kid just feels like an odd choice, but there's been some really odd choices for Green Lanterns over there. Hell, there's a Green Lantern with an active volcano for a head.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say, is I think that's one of the nice things about Green Lantern, is because there have been so many and they're all so different. I mean, you've got a squirrel that's a Green Lantern, right? So
Yep.
If you're looking to mix up the team so that way everybody doesn't look the same, I thought it was actually kind of clever to be like, oh, this is a very unique Green Lantern. That way we still have the Green Lantern on the team, but it's something that you haven't quite seen before. So I liked it, actually, just as far as mixing up the team and making it a little more diverse.
Okay, fair enough.
And I liked Aquagirl a lot. And I also thought it was very clever that Aquagirl could communicate with Starro, because it is some form of sea creature.
Yes, that was a very clever piece there.
Yeah, and I really liked that. I really liked her a lot. She was awesome.
I'd actually really like to see more of this. I'm going to see if after we get off here tonight, see if I can go track down that episode of Justice League Unlimited, because I have no memory of it at all. But I would like to spend more time with these characters because I enjoyed them.
It is, I believe it is the Once and Future Thing.
Okay.
Season 1 of Justice League Unlimited. So check that. I hope I'm right. But I'm pretty sure it's the second part of the Once and Future Thing. But that's another great two-parter, so watch the whole thing and enjoy it. But I'm pretty sure it's in the second part that they run into these guys.
All right.
All right, the call. Anything else you guys want to call out before we give some letter grades and move on?
I think I'm okay.
I just have the feeling that none of these remaining 5 episodes are going to quite live up to this, so I'm kind of wishing this would have been the exit stage left of the show.
Yeah, you were probably right, but hey, we'll see. All right, any final thoughts on a letter grade, Jamie?
I think I've given about as much thought as I can, other than I really like this, and it's a solid A from me on both of these episodes. I enjoyed the hell out of them. And if the whole show would have given me this, I would have had a lot more upbeat things to say about it.
Okay, Brendan?
Yeah, look, I'll give it an A as well. It was really, really good. And like I said before, it's just nice to something that sort of involves the wider DC universe and not just random villain of the week that, isn't, in my opinion, that good or doesn't go anywhere. So, I dug it. I thought it was really, really cool. And knowing what came after, It's a nice little companion piece.
For sure. Yep, I love this one. I think it's great. I agree with you guys. It's two of the best episodes of the series. I don't know, where I'd put it, but it's up there. These are great, and I will happily revisit them whenever I think about them. So I'm with you. Big ol' A for the call.
That's got to be history right there. There can't have been another episode of the show we've discussed where it scored 3 A's.
I think you're probably right. All right. Well, the call parts 1 and 2, big ol' A. Watch these. These are awesome. I think you guys will dig them, whether you like Batman Beyond or Justice League or both. These are really, really good. Next one up is Betrayal. And yeah, we are in the spitting distance of the end of this series, which is really exciting. So Betrayal next time. But we're not ready to say goodbye because we got to check in with you fine feathered finks and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Derek. What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
Okay, first email here is from our pal CJ Higgins. It says, "Hey Bat fans, I was wondering if you had seen Batman Soul of the Dragon. It's definitely in my top favorites of Batman stories, and I hope it gets a sequel. I love the idea of Batman in the golden era of classic spy movies with ninjas thrown in for spice. I hope you do a review of the movie." CJ Higgins. So thanks, CJ. I feel like this came up relatively recently. I was not as big a fan. I know a lot of other people loved it, and I got really excited, and then I thought it was only okay. I just needed more Batman in my Batman movie. I love the idea of doing like a 70s Batman movie, but it wasn't very interested in Batman. It wanted to just be an animated Bruce Lee movie, but they threw in Batman for marketing. So I thought it was okay, but I'm not in love with it. Jamie, I feel like you never got around to seeing it, did you?
I still haven't seen it, but I have the feeling that it's up my alley because I like these things. I mean, even if you go back, several years ago when we were doing the Batman the Animated Series reviews and we talked about the episodes with the ninja whose name escapes me right now, shamefully. And I always liked those episodes a lot better than you did, so I feel like maybe that's kind of where I'll wind up here. But no, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I've been holding off watching it because I figure eventually we'll do it for the show. But
yeah, we keep meaning to. We just need to. Yeah. One of these days, very soon, we will do it. And I just feel like, my passion for doing it sort of went away once I realized I didn't love it. But Brendan, what did you think? Brendan fell asleep. Brendan?
Oh, sorry. I bumped my mute button. No, I haven't seen it since it first came out, which I think was it January last year or
yeah, I think so.
even prior to that, I can't remember. Anyway, I remember like I enjoyed it enough, but it's not really my thing. And I mean, yeah, it's as much as a Batman movie as Assault on Arkham is a Batman movie. It's a Suicide Squad movie with Batman in the title, and this is the same sort of thing. It's a 70s kung fu movie with Batman in the title to make people like us watch it, and it works because we watch it. Well, Jamie hasn't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, Jamie's not a real Batman fan anyway. He shouldn't even be on a Batman podcast.
Yeah, right. That's very true. It's very true. I hate that.
We just do it because we can't get rid of him. But yeah,
no, we do it because we're making all these fat ducats off of their sponsorships and everything else.
So rich. I'm so rich.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Like I'd be open to doing a review for it one day because it'd give me an excuse to watch it again. So yeah.
All right. Sweet.
So we still got to do that one and Injustice both. Huh?
Yeah, I just watched Injustice for the first time, so
that's why I brought it up.
Yep, but it's on HBO Max, so happy to watch it again and review it. So
Soul of the Dragon's on there too, so
sweet. All right, next message is from James Mullins, new Patreon, but overall friend of the show. He said, "I don't think I've ever loved you more than when you made your erasure reference on the last episode. Cheers." And I forgot #Titty Moss.
Titty Moss. I'm telling you, I should have copyrighted that.
Yep, that was all Jamie. But yeah, I loved me some erasure. They're great. I'm just glad you got it. I didn't know. Like, I feel like we haven't heard about them in a while, but I'm a big fan. All right, next email is from Dave Chambers. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast crew. I loved the listener question on the last episode that asked about an artist-writer from an era working on a comic book together, and so I had to do my own list. In no particular order, Jim Lee and Denny O'Neil with the Joker, Bruce Timm and Jeff Loeb with Mr. Freeze, Tim Sale and Paul Dini with the Riddler. Also, I've softened my stance on the Batman. While I do hold that the film retreads certain story aspects from the Nolan area, what excites me the most is the possibilities for the next movie. How will Batman Bruce grow his characters? Will we see Robin? Will the look of everything be more theatrical? It's those thoughts that excite me the most. Recently, I was able to talk to some friends in person, hallelujah, about the film and the possibility of Robin. What I discovered was a dislike for the character, which I don't understand. One of my friends is older, and Ben grew up with Robin only seen through the lens of Batman 66 and Super Friends, so I get it. But what is with all the Robin hate? For me, Robin points to a reality that Batman is able to move past his trauma and help another like him, to inspire hope that everything will be okay. Regardless of who's under the Robin mask, Bruce is always trying to channel his anger, sadness, and bitterness to a more constructive end. And where Bruce ends at the end of the Batman, I could see a reality where he adopts a 14-year-old and trains him to be better than him, to inspire him to be more than vengeance. Anyway, sorry for the long rant about Robin. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for all that you do for the Bat community, Dave Chambers." Thanks, Dave. First of all three of your ideas for those comics, I would buy all of those. I think those are all great choices. I'm down.
I'm in on that.
Yeah, same.
And I mean, if you go back to our review of the Batman, I feel like we're pretty in sync with you. As I feel like we're more excited for what comes next and what could come next. And I think that is consistent. So I definitely agree with that. I feel like where the Batman leaves off, there are a million possibilities of things they could do, including possibly Robin. And I'm really excited to see what those things are. And so I think that's very fair. As for the Robin discussion, Jamie, any thoughts on? Any thoughts on any of this stuff, but specifically the Robin question?
I'll just echo what you said about the Batman sequel. I'm looking forward to what's coming next there. I would dare go so far as to say that I'm excited for what's coming down the pipe next there. And even though the aesthetics may never be exactly what I would want or prefer or even like, I think that the storytelling potential is really and truly amazing. The possibilities are endless with it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to what's next there. The Robin hate, I mean, I was somebody that never really liked Robin. I mean, like when I was a kid, I thought Robin was cool because I thought, hey, I could partner up with Batman and go fight crime when I'm 12 years old or something like that. That's why Robin was initially created, was to appeal to that type of mentality. The kids wanted to see themselves with Batman, that it made it more relatable, I suppose. But then I kind of fell off. I got into my darkness, no parents Batman phase, and I was like, screw Robin, we don't need him. It's a silly idea. Look how dopey he looks in that costume and everything else. And then I think even when you and I became friends, Andy, I think I was still a little bit on that fence, and you were like, hey, listen, this is what Robin's about. And you kind of gave me some perspective on it. And I went back and I read some stuff, maybe even the Robin solo series is what I read, Joker's Wild, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I replenished my respect, or I rejuvenated my respect for that character. And I realized, love him, hate him, or anywhere in between, Robin is a part of Batman and his history. And the fact that we've never really, in my opinion, gotten a solid, really good Robin live action on a screen, no disrespect to, Batman 66, because that was what it was. It's almost sad in hindsight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
time. I mean, it's past time that it happens.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, any thoughts?
It's hard to follow that because you pretty much said everything I was thinking. Particularly the end, where it's just like, it's way overdue for us to have I mean, look, I think Brenton Thwaites is an amazing Dick Grayson Robin now / Nightwing in Titans. I'd love to see more of him sort of away from the team. Like, if they were to do like a HBO Max like Robin or Nightwing movie, I'd love to see him have a crack at it. But in terms of like a big screen Batman and Robin partnership, it's long overdue. And I mean, you guys know, and the listeners know, I've been saying it for a couple of years now. Like, it's time to get the Bat family on screen. Like, we've seen Dark Solo, gritty Batman for how many years now, and it's good. Like, I do like that version of the character, but I just don't want to see it rehashed over and over and over when there's this whole other part of Batman's world that remains untouched on the big screen for 25 years. And even then, it wasn't really done that well 25 years ago. So, yeah, it's definitely time. I personally haven't heard any Robin hate, but then again, I have all my geeky conversations with you guys. So, particularly with Andy, you're not going to get any Robin hate in any of those conversations. So, yeah, let's just do it, for God's sake.
Well, I'll just give you one quick example. That buddy that you made on Twitter the other day had a post on their wall that said if Robin was in the Matt Reeves Batman sequel, they weren't going to watch it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so anyway.
I mean, I think it's been an issue for years, and I think it's just because so many people can't get the campy Robin out of their mind from Batman 66, who is a great Robin, but it was a Robin for that version of Batman and that world, and much like Batman needed a reinvention after Batman 66 and it came in 1989, Robin never really got that. He kind of got it in Batman Forever, but it wasn't enough because Batman Forever was starting to go back to the camp of Batman 66. So he never got the reinvention he needed in pop culture. And so I think so many people just think of the campy version. But Robin is such a great part of the Batman mythology. I mean, as much as I love Batman, I always said I love Robin just as much. I just think he's an amazing character because, as you say, Dave, he is a chance for Bruce to help someone he cares about avoid the mistakes that he personally has made, to make Dick or Tim or Jason better than even he is. And so these, adopted sons of him can live better and happier lives with his guidance. And it's such a missed opportunity that the movies just don't want to touch Robin. And it's ridiculous. It's like the fact that they're like, oh, it won't work. I mean, come on. Like, it can work if you think about it for more than 5 minutes. And, Titans is a great example of how it can work. Imagine Brenton Thwaites' Robin or Curran Walters' Robin, but with an actual cinematic Batman. There's a reason that as soon as we saw Brenton Thwaites as Robin, people were immediately photoshopping it with Ben Affleck's Batman because it would have been perfect. It's just time for someone to do it.
Shout out to Julian Chan.
Yeah, it's just time for someone to do it. And I hope Matt Reeves is up to the task, but it is silly that at this point, we have not gotten a cinematic reinvention of Robin. And I think that's why I get so frustrated with The Dark Knight Rises, is because it just, the John Blake character almost implies, well, this is the only way Robin will work, which is just a cop-out. No, it's not. Just suck it up and do Robin. That's all I say. Robin's a great character, and he deserves his time in the sun in a movie again.
Well, I mean, two more things I'll just tack right onto this since we're this deep in the conversation anyway. Number one, people talk about how difficult Superman is to write and how some writers might actively avoid writing Superman because they don't know how to make it work in a real world environment's just the wrong term to use for a comic book. But you follow what I'm saying. Like, I feel like maybe part of the reason nobody's tried is because they don't know how to do it, even though it's probably as simple as what you're saying, and just do it.
Yeah. You just do it. And,
because even as great as Thwaites is on Titans, this is a post-Robin.
Yes.
And I know we got a little bit of the costume there, but this is still effectively the Nightwing version of Robin. It's not Robin. We didn't get his history as Robin.
Right.
We get Jason Todd's, but I mean, that's just a different animal all on itself.
Yes.
It's weird. And the other thing is, if they would have incorporated a Dick Grayson or a Robin into Keaton's world of Batman, say with, going all the way back to the first one or the original script for Batman 2, or even whatever the third Batman would have been with Keaton involved and, Burton staying on board, does that change the conversation, if not the entire trajectory of the public opinion of Robin?
Mm-hmm.
I think it does.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, sorry to get long-winded.
Nope. I mean, that can be its own episode in defense of Robin, and I'll be ready. I'll write a whole keynote speech for you. Anyway, moving forward, it is Bat Sam from Boston. It says, "Hey, Andy and crew, just a quick comment. My daughter gets a kick out of the fact that I sometimes write in and participate in Holy BatCast discussions. She told her friends at school, much to their delight, she described the show as grown-ass men sitting around and talking about Batman, which for the most part is accurate, but we include women and sometimes talk about Superman as well. No questions today, my friends. I just thought you might find it humorous as I do that Holy BatCast is a topic of discussion at the lunch table of middle school girls. Sending the whole crew my best, Bat Sam from Boston." Thanks, Bat Sam, and thanks, Bat Sam's daughter. Hi, Sam's daughter. I don't know your name, but hello. Tell all your friends at school that there is nothing wrong with grown-ass men talking about Batman, because there are far worse things we could be doing with our time.
I'm saying.
I mean, how old is the daughter?
It says middle school.
So what's that, like 10, 11?
12. Yeah, it could be between 10 and 13.
Because since the sponsorship, we have talked about our balls a lot. That's where it could get a little bit awkward. But aside from that, she's all good.
Well, I mean, I don't think she's listening to the show.
No, but I'm just saying.
But
quick side note to that, my daughter told me the other day that one of her classmates loves our show and we're her favorite podcast because now I am her most famous person that she knows.
Oh, well, perfect.
Yeah.
So famous.
I don't think that did anything but inflate my ego a little bit. But all right, cool.
I mean, we're big sellouts with Manscaped, so we're making so much money. We're so rich and famous.
We could throw like 17 dimes on a bed and just roll around and throw them.
Oh
up
my
in the air.
god,
I mean,
yeah! With all the money I make from this podcast, like sometimes I go to Taco Bell and like I don't even look at the prices. I just get what I want. I just treat myself.
God, that's what we missed in news. I knew we were missing something in news. Did you see the big news?
The Mexican pizza's coming back?
The Mexican pizza's coming back.
Oh my god, thank Christ. Our long national nightmare is over.
Mexican pizza, you have been missed, and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into you once more.
I'm going to go to Taco Bell. I'm going to buy 3. I'm not even going to do Utah get me 2. I'm going to be like, Utah get me 3.
My man.
Anyway, Bat Sam, thanks for writing in. Tell your daughter we say hi. All right, next one's from our old pal Stuart from Guernsey. He says, "I loved the episode that you guys did, Riddler in Media Through the Years. A lot more than I thought I would. Not that I didn't think I wouldn't like it. Would you consider doing more shows like this based on other characters? If you had my vote, I'd love to hear a Robin episode." I feel like planets are aligning.
Synergy.
Yeah. He says, "Anyway, I'll keep it short and to the point. I hope you're doing well and you and your families are as happy as can be, Stuart." Thank you, Stuart. Yeah, like that episode that me and Brendan did was like sort of a experiment and it was really fun. I really had a good time with it, Brendan. You?
Yeah, no, it was good fun.
Yeah.
I'd do it again. It's funny when you were reading the email, I'm like, oh, this would be good to do with Robin. Then he said Robin. I'm like, well, there you go.
And there, see, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a Robin celebratory episode. We did have a little bit of a Robin celebration when it was the 80th anniversary, but that was more focused on the comic. But yeah, I like that idea. I'm glad you liked
now
the
that you've given him license and encouragement to do it, Andy's going to have a 2-part episode about Egghead.
That's coming too. Next Easter. Mark your calendars, y'all.
I will say too, when you were talking about, I honestly don't know if I've ever read it, but how you guys were talking, was it the last episode or the one before? I can't remember. About the Joker's Wild story.
Yeah, Robin 2, The Joker's Wild.
Yeah, because I now have DC Universe Infinite, I went straight to my tablet and put it in my list. So I'm going to check that out. And I've actually put the whole series in my list to go back and read the lot. So
I mean, if you want to commit,
first part of that series was pretty solid too, as I recall. It's been years since I've read it, but
well, I was going to say read Robin 1. I love the original Robin miniseries. I love it. So read that one too if you want to commit. It's only 5 issues. And then go to Robin 2, The Joker's Wild, because Robin 1 is really awesome too. It's just not it's not as commercial, shall I say, because it doesn't have the Joker in it. So Robin 2, The Joker's Wild, when we were talking about animated things, makes more sense for an animated movie than the first one, because the villain in the first one is Lady Shiva and King Snake, which is like cool, but like, you know, not going to put that on a movie poster.
No.
But yeah, I say read them both, but they're good fun.
Check them out.
They're good.
The main thing is I can now.
Yeah, look at you. Oh my God. So last night, I shit you not. I was going to send you a screen grab, but I was too tired. I was watching The Simpsons because we watched Simpsons before bed, and it was Bart versus Australia. And like when he calls Australia, there's like a sign and it says, now 30 years with power.
Jesus Christ. That episode is, oh man, yeah.
Do you want to play a game of Knifey Spoony?
yeah, I know.
It's so good. Okay. I really don't want to read this next email, but I'm going to do it. Here we go, guys. It's from our pal.
Collective size.
Yeah, it's from our pal Eric Carter. We love him. This isn't, but he says, "Hey guys, greetings, old chums. I know we're all getting tired of hearing about Ezra Miller and their issues. However, it appears that the problems just won't stop. If you were David Zaslav and the people in charge at WB Discovery and had the responsibility for major franchises to consider, what would your course of action be? At the end of the day, I think it's time to move on from Ezra. I just don't know how to effectively do that with the current slate. I do hope Ezra gets the help that they clearly need. Thanks again for all that you do. Holy BatCast is the very best. Keep the bat signal lit and pointed skyward. Your bat brother, Eric Carter." So yeah, there's a reason we didn't mention this in the news, because I knew it was coming in the mailbox. The Ezra Miller Odyssey just keeps on going. So Brendan, what are your thoughts?
So you throw to me first.
Yep.
With this one. Cool.
Sorry about it.
I mean, look, it sucks. DC has had enough troubles with the on-screen, side of things in the last 10 years. You throw this into the mix where you've got, and look, I'll mention Amber Heard as well. You've got 2 movies on the horizon that star, people whose off-screen lives are really hard to get behind at the moment. And it does make me a little nervous about, honestly, probably more Aquaman than Flash, but it does make me a little bit nervous about how it will impact the success of those movies. Mm-hmm. Look, Ezra's stuff has all happened kind of after the movie's been shot, which makes it hard because they're not just going to can the whole movie. Like, particularly when it seems that the future of the DC universe hinges on this movie. It can't be done. So, yeah, depending on how things work out there, I think the Flash should be okay. Aquaman 2 I find a little bit different. I mean, there are people vocally out there who are just flat out saying, I am not supporting this movie because she's in it.
To be fair, they said that about the first movie too. I'm just saying. Oh yeah.
Because it kind of blew up, but it sort of blew up more after the first Aquaman movie, I thought. Like, I remember going in to see Aquaman. I'll be honest, I'd never seen her in anything to my knowledge.
Really?
And I don't think so. Like, and I walked out of there going, well, she was a good Mera. Like, and I stand by it. I think she's a good Mera. I thought she was good in that movie. I have no issues with her whatsoever in terms of her on-screen stuff.
As long as she's not trying to do that damn accent anyway.
But, I think we've said on this show before, as much as we I think all 3 of us liked her in the first Aquaman movie, I do think they should have recast, just for their own sake, because this isn't going away and it's not getting better. It keeps coming back and it keeps getting worse. So it is really disappointing, and it's just like, man, can we as fans, it's really hard to get a break at the moment because, there can be a movie that comes along that's successful, that everyone seems to get behind, and then something else will happen that damages the brand overall. And you've got the people out there who just, it doesn't matter what DC do, whether it's good, bad, in between, whatever, they shit on it because it's DC. Like that, look, I'll say it. They shit on it because it's not Marvel. And things like this really don't help, and it is disappointing and frustrating as a fan. The problem is, though, it is what it is, that we can't change it, and it's too late for both those movies. They're shot, they're in the can. So I think it's just a case that they're going to have to release them, let the cards fall where they may, and with this new management team and everything, DC gets the love and support that it needs, and we can sort of just move on and get some really good movies in the future without the off-screen bullshit, for lack of a better term.
All right, Jamie, anything you want to add?
Where to begin? Listen, first things first.
Told you I didn't want to read this email.
I know. I didn't want to talk about it. I told you before the show even started I didn't want to talk about this subject. But here we are.
Son of a bitch, Eric, he emailed us about it so we come off as the bad guys and he doesn't have to talk about it on his show.
Listen, he's taking out revenge on me because I'm making him watch Critters for the Batman the Animated Series thing, so that he has to see that damn goat say Batman, which is still the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, by the way. But that's beside the point. He knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, I had kind of an emotional outburst on Twitter the other day, and I was, swinging and I was mad. And it's just one of those things I shouldn't tweet when I'm mad, because I don't control what I'm saying or think about what I'm saying first. And I was basically saying, scrap the movie and get rid of it and find a way to make Shazam or Black Adam be the ones that, somehow or another reset the universe based in magic or something along those lines. And at the time, I felt like I meant that, but I don't want this movie to be scrapped. I want to see what this Flash movie is going to bring. I mean, it's obviously a huge piece of the puzzle going forward of what we're going to get. So no, I don't want the movie to be ditched. And, Andy quickly pointed out they've invested too much money to just, shit can the movie already. And we could discuss that until we're blue in the face on right or wrong for numbers or anything else. But I feel like Ezra's playing not one but two parts in this movie. You can't reshoot that much of the movie again and still make a deadline of next June. At least, I mean, it's just opening up another Justice League 17 scenario to try and pull that off in that short amount of time. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I guess where I'm going to close this, I'm going to try and just shut it down, even though I have a lot of thoughts on this. I just want to shut it down now. I'm going to tell you a real quick story about another very talented, very well-loved actor who hit rock effing bottom in their lives and broke into somebody's house and passed out drunk and or high on their bed and went to jail. And I mean, it was a mess. And this poor bastard couldn't get anything but a bit part for probably a decade after that. And no matter what performance he did, he always turned in a great performance. But then he wound up getting somebody to take a chance on him. And he effectively, in my opinion, became the biggest modern movie star of the last 25 years. And that's Robert Downey Jr. I don't know what Ezra's situation is. I don't know if there's a chemical problem. I don't know if there's a mental problem. I don't know if it's a combination of both. I don't know what's going on, but clearly there is an issue here somewhere. And Ezra needs to get some help with this issue. And until Ezra gets the help with the issue, it's probably only going to get worse from here. And he's going to have to bottom out somehow in order to realize that they need to swim back up, because Ezra is so talented. I really and truly believe Ezra is a very talented, gifted actor. And I don't want to see Ezra fade away into nothing because of some bad choices or issues that he had. And I don't want to see them bottom out completely. I'm still getting used to this pronoun thing. Sorry, forgive me. I don't want to see them bottom out completely, but maybe that's what needs to happen in order for Ezra to get the help that they need in their life to get them back on track. And I don't want Ezra to have to wait a decade or more before they can get a decent leading part or something along those lines. But that's the closest parallel I can draw is with the Robert Downey Jr. situation. And it's not what I want, but you know what? It ain't about what I want. It's about what may be the harsh reality here. So I guess what I'm saying in a nutshell is it's not too late. Andy's talked about this, maybe run an apology tour for a year, get them the help that they need, and try and get things on the up and up before the release of The Flash, knock on wood, next June or whatever the schedule is. And maybe that's the right answer. I don't know. I just know that more important than the movie is this human being's personal well-being and the well-being of those that they come in contact with. That's the thing that needs to be addressed first and foremost above all else. And DC fandom and whatever else, I mean, it's another blow, and it sucks, but let's not act like we aren't basically used to this sort of shit by now. It's just part of life being a DC fan. But my chief concern lies with Ezra getting the help that they need to right themselves in life and mental, spiritual, whatever the case may be. That went on longer than I intended it to, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief. Because it's its own rabbit hole to go down. And, I kind of go back to what I said on the last one, on the last episode when this came up, is, first of all, I'm shocked that after what happened a few weeks ago with Ezra Miller in Hawaii, that it's still going on. That after the couple incidents that happened a few weeks ago, that someone did not step in, get them the hell out of Hawaii, and put a stop to this. I don't know who. I don't know if it's their family. I don't know if it's people from the studio, good friends. Something needs to happen. And the fact that another incident happened a few weeks after last one, I'm like, how is this still going on? Come on. It's time to step in. I don't care who. Someone needs to step in and put a stop to this. I don't think that things are past the point of no return. Everything that Ezra Miller has done is shitty and weird and crazy, but none of it I feel like has quite reached the point where they can't come back from it. I think they can. I agree with Jamie, and what I said previously is the important thing is somebody needs to step in, get Ezra Miller the help that they need. I've seen a little bit of Ezra Miller doesn't need help. It's just an actor acting out or being, out of control or something like that. But the stories that came out about the Flash set after the last incident about Ezra having emotional breakdowns during filming, and it was nonviolent. It was completely internal, but having really hard emotional problems during the filming of the movie shows that no, this isn't just an actor getting out of control, partying too much, and just being irresponsible. There's something else going on. So I just hope that whoever is in Ezra's life who loves them, cares about them, it's time to step in. It's time to get them some help. As for the movie ain't going anywhere. They've spent $200 million at least, maybe $250, making this movie. The movie's in the can. The movie's in post-production. Effects houses are working on it as we're speaking right now. There is an artist in Los Angeles working his butt off in the middle of the night, painting lightning on Ezra Miller as they're running as the Flash. That's happening right now. There's too much money invested. The movie's not going anywhere. But the silver lining is that there is over a year before that movie is released. A lot can happen in the next 14 months. They're going to finish the movie, and then they've got all the time in the world to get Ezra Miller help. And then, yes, I've said it, and Jamie just referred to it. Then Ezra Miller can go do the appearances and go, yeah, I needed help, and I got the help, and I feel good about it, and whatever. Hollywood loves a comeback. We love to forgive people. It's too soon, though. Right now, nobody wants to forgive them because this just happened in the past month. But They didn't kill anyone. They didn't beat anyone up. They had some outbursts. They threw a chair. It's shitty behavior, but again, it's not past the point of no return yet. But if somebody doesn't step in now, it could get there any day now. So it's time. But the movie's coming out. If things don't change, that's probably going to be Ezra Miller's last appearance as the Flash. But the movie's coming out, come hell or high water, because you don't just take a $250 million write-down.
No, all very true, I think. And it begs the question too, if it is his last appearance, do you go a Wally West route? Do you do something like that? Or do you just recast?
Yeah.
I think it doesn't need to be overly complicated. I think just recast.
Yeah, you could. I mean, and I just, me and Catherine last night, we went and saw the new Fantastic Beasts. Ezra Miller is so talented. To Jamie's point, they're such a good actor. They're very talented. I love Ezra Miller as the Flash. I loved them in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I was so excited that they were going to continue on in the role. But man, first things first, they need to get their personal life and their emotional stability and their mental health in a good place. Everything else can wait.
Another thing I want to point out, and you referenced that they probably spent somewhere between 200 and 250 million. You were the one that taught me this lesson some years ago, where if a project goes into like development, pre-production, what have you, and winds up getting scrapped, whatever they spent on that winds up being tacked under the umbrella of whatever the finished product winds up being, if that makes sense. Like Superman Returns probably had to eat the budget of the Death and Return of Superman.
Correct. It did have to. That's a fact.
Okay. And then, Justice League had to eat the whatever they spent on George Miller's in development thing that never got fully off the ground. You know what I'm saying? It just, you taught me that lesson. So they've had to, in some degree or another, kind of restart this movie, 4 or 5 times? They had to have spent a ton of money on that.
I've lost count.
They probably didn't get too deep into filming or anything like that with it, but you're still talking about hiring directors, hiring production people, whatever, and maybe even getting to the point of like screen testing, costumes, things like that. That there's money that has to be thrown into this because of what happened prior to this movie being filmed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is The Flash, they didn't film a frame until it was Andy Muschietti's movie, but they went through, 4 directors, and so paying for the time of those directors and writers over the past 5 years, yes, all of that is part of the Flash budget. It's just not as much as if they had actually started building sets or, doing actual production, but that was why the Superman Returns thing is so egregious, because on paper, Superman Returns had a budget of $250 million, but they spent, $50 million of that, maybe 75, building sets and costumes for, Superman Lives with Tim Burton. So the difference is they were like weeks away from filming the movie with Tim Burton, so they'd spent all this money building sets and stuff. The Flash never got that far, but still, the money they paid Rick Famuyiwa to write the script and develop the movie for a year or however long he was on it. Yeah, that's all part of the Flash budget. All right, well, fun stuff. Let's move forward, shall we?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Next one's from our pal Julian Chan, who just watched The Batman for the first time, and he's happy to finally be able to discuss it. So anyway, here's what Julian says. He says, "Hey, Andy, Jamie, Brendan, I hope you're doing well. As you know, while everyone was watching The Batman and discussing it, I couldn't join in because the cinemas here in Hong Kong were closed. So I just managed to catch it digitally, and in effect, I could start listening to your show again, which I had avoided in fear of spoilers. So for the past few days, I've been playing catch up. I'm still not up to date, but I thought I'd write to address the abuse that you guys endured after your review. I know a lot of people have already written in, and I don't want to dig it up again, but as a friend, I thought I should and apologize for the delay in my response. I just found out. The abuse made me sad and angry that someone who does this show for fun and for our entertainment can be abused for having an opinion opinion about a movie. It's just astonishing, especially given you guys went to such great lengths to put out disclaimers. Sometimes I think Milks is right about the world. As Brendan knows, we have a name for people like this in Australia. It starts with a C and ends in unce. Just know that there are far more of us that love you than those who don't. But enough about those bottom feeders. On to this bottom feeder. I myself didn't agree with everything that you guys said about the Batman, but I'm mature enough and sane enough to allow others rights to their own opinions. Andy, I thought your observations about the similarities with the Nolan films was very astute. However, they didn't affect my feelings about the movie. No, it's not a perfect movie, but it did give me so much batty goodness that I couldn't help but love it. We got the internal monologue and Detective Batman while never skimping on the action. I thought the entire cast was excellent, especially Colin Farrell. I thought Pattinson really knocked it out of the park as Batman, and is now in the conversation as one of the best bats we've ever gotten. I'm not a fan of the cowl, but damn if he didn't look amazing in close-ups. Anyway, I don't want to wax lyrical about every beat, let's just say this. Even with the stuff that I hated, like Batman's outfit, Selina's cowl, that damn Fast and Furious reject of a car, this movie sits high on my list of Batman movies, probably number 3 or 4 at this time of writing. I agree with Brendan that the runtime does affect the rewatchability, but I love it. It's been a long message. I'm going to wrap up. Thanks for your positivity and all that you do. Your Bat brother and fellow Bat fan, Julian. All right, Julian, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. And man, it's probably a tough, whatever it's been. It was 6 weeks waiting to be able to finally see the Batman. I know it was torture, so you finally made it. Definitely appreciate the kind words. I'm pretty much over it. What can you do? I went back and listened back to the review, and I was like, I didn't know how many times I apologized for things I didn't like about the movie, but it still wasn't enough. Some people just want to be mad. But thank you. And glad you finally saw the movie and you love it and shared your thoughts. Guys, anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, since he has a difference of opinion from me on that movie, we'll meet in the alley behind the Noodle House in Hong Kong at midnight next Monday.
Good.
And
Take
we'll
him
settle
out.
it out with the blades.
Good.
Because apparently that's what you have to do when you disagree with somebody about a movie nowadays is fight to the death.
As well you should.
Yeah.
Brendan, anything to add?
Not really. No, I'm just glad that he finally got to see it. And he's a top bloke.
All right. Julian wrote in again, but I'm not going to read it on the show. And here's why. His message contains rumors and potential big spoilers for The Flash.
Okay.
They were rumors that have been making the rounds over the past few weeks. I had avoided them up until I read Julian's email, so now I have not avoided them. So I'm bummed that I read them, and so I certainly don't want to share them on the show for anyone who has been able to avoid them. So I'm just going to say that, Julian. No harm, no foul, but I'm not going to read on the show in case in case these things turn out to be real. I don't want to spoil them here. I hope you understand.
Well, I want to hear him because I'm still not convinced this movie's ever coming out. So,
well,
that's just me.
Okay, next
Read
message.
it to me as we sign off tonight. It'll be my lullaby for the evening.
I mean, don't you just want to go in fresh?
I mean, do I? Am I going?
Yes, someday. You just got to live 14 more months or so.
Yeah, I've heard that song and dance before. At any rate.
All right. This next message is from Caitlin Irk. Or Irky. It says, "Hey guys, this is my first time writing in. I started listening to your show a few months ago, and I always enjoying to hear what you guys have to say. Dick Grayson and Wally West have been my favorite friendship ever since I watched Young Justice, and all I want to see is to see them reunited together, especially in live action. Over the years, I've been holding hope that Wally will appear in Titans, but that doesn't seem like it will happen. Of course, we don't know how the Flash movie will play out, but I'm crossing my fingers that one day my little heart will get to see these two buddies in live action together. I'm also still hoping that Wally will make a return to Young Justice, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. Sorry if this was a bit lengthy, but what friendship would you like to see explored in the DCEU that we have not yet gotten to see? Keep up the good work. I always look forward to listening to new episodes. Hope you're doing well, Caitlin." Thank you, Caitlin. Nice to meet you. Thanks you for finally writing in. And this is a fun question. I agree with you. Dick and Wally, great pair. Young Justice, that was awesome. But like you, the fate of Wally West and Young Justice is one they really seem to have committed to. So I wouldn't expect to see that. But yeah, good question. So a friendship between DC characters you'd like to see in live action or a film. Brendan?
It sort of goes back to what we were saying before, but for me, Dick and Barbara.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was going to jump in before, but this conversation sort of moved on. How you said you didn't feel like Robin ever had that redeeming, element that, say, Batman did after Batman 66. I think for people like us, it was Batman the Animated Series.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point.
But that doesn't permeate with the wider pop culture zeitgeist than just one movie can. So I totally understand where you're coming from, but I do think there was some redemption there for the character, but it's just not as widespread. But yeah, honestly, Dick and Barbara, like, whether it be flirtatious or brother sisterly, I can take that either way. Like, for me, either way works, and they did toy with it both ways in Batman the Animated Series. So yeah, I want to see those two together on the big screen.
All right, that's a good answer. Jamie?
For lack of a better answer off the top of my head, I think this might even be a popular choice that somebody's screaming for in their car right now. Harley and Ivy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones that came to mind. I'm like, okay, it's not the most original answer, but I mean, come on. Like, we all were screaming for that for Birds of Prey, or even after Birds of Prey. Like, God, it just seems like such a no-brainer that I can't believe we're not doing it.
And maybe even to a lesser degree, like dynamic between villains. Say Joker Penguin, Joker Riddler, Riddler Penguin, that I feel like, I mean, obviously we had some of that, Penguin and Catwoman stuff. And, I'm not even going to acknowledge that freaking movie that came out in 97, but, Two-Face and Riddler, even though it was kind of weird the way it was presented. Like, I feel like something along the lines of the relationship the villains had in 66, but with a little less tongue-in-cheek approach, would be really cool. And the hint that we get from the scene that was actually left in The Batman between Joker and Riddler gives me hope that I'm going to see something along those lines of seeing a real strong combined effort between villains because they're friends or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's how he referred to it as in the film, right? So something along those lines I think would go really far too.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Harley and Ivy approach too, given the day and age that we're in, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen this previously in superhero cinema. But if they were to go the road that those two characters are sort of in now with comics and the animated show and everything, like, it'd be another way to get some more LGBTQI plus representation in a superhero movie with Harley and Ivy. Like, if they were to portray them being in a relationship together, I think that'd be cool. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Good answers. Gosh, I'm gonna give you an answer, and it sounds like I'm throwing shade, but I swear I'm not. Batman and Superman.
No, I almost said that.
You get what I'm saying, right?
I don't want to deal with the emails next week for saying it, so I'm not going to say it. But I almost said it.
But you get my point, right? Like,
not playing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were setting it up, but we never got to the point that we wanted them to get to. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
Well, I'm not throwing shade. You just want to see that relationship mature.
Yes.
You had that nice bit of closure with, him buying the bank to save the Kent farm. That was a good moment. But if you guys remember, Brendan, I think this was before your time, but back when we were waiting for BVS to come out, I told everybody, if this movie doesn't end with them on a rooftop shaking hands in Gotham or Metropolis and, see you on the next adventure kind of thing, it's a real bad missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've still never seen anything on that level outside of an animated series or a comic book.
Gee, it could not have gone in a different direction, could it?
Right.
And don't
Yep.
get me wrong, I love BVS. I love the Snyderverse. I'm not throwing shade any more than Andy is here, but at some point, I would like it if they had a less contentious relationship start to finish.
Yes.
I just
And that's
want
exactly it. I love those movies. I'm not in any way throwing shade at those movies, but I want to see a movie where they're truly partners and friends.
a world's finest movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh God, I had another answer, and now the flip side, Batgirl and Supergirl. We have seen sort of a version of it on CW with Batwoman and Supergirl, and I really liked that. But I feel like we're getting new versions of Batgirl and Supergirl in the movies. I think that would be a really cool friendship to explore.
Yeah, I'm down with that too.
I'd say we're more likely to see that before we are Batman and Superman, as we just talked about.
That's true too.
So
You know what? You know what that movie should be? It's should be Supergirl and Batgirl doing their Christmas ski trip that they allude to in the Justice League.
see, I'd watch that.
See? Yeah.
Yep. And then, I mean, as long as, and then kind of like along the lines of what you were saying, Brendan, is I also feel like Dick and Tim is such a great friendship. It's such a great brotherly
that would be a
friendship
good one.
that I would love to see that. And we'll see some version of that in Titans, I'm sure, now that Tim Drake's been brought into it. But, you know, we'll
Titans
see.
is very much doing its own thing, though.
Exactly.
Traditional relationships that we know and love.
Exactly. That was kind of where I was going. Is like, but it's like they will do their own thing. We'll see how it goes, but that's not exactly it, you know.
Yeah.
But fun question, Caitlin. Thank you for that. Speaking of Young Justice, there are new episodes I really need to watch. I have not done that yet.
Yeah, I'm still on like episode 4. I'm having a hell of a time getting into it, and I hate saying that, but man, that's rough.
All right, next message from Gabe Nakamura. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast crew, hope you're doing well. For shits and giggles, if WB asked you to pick a director to make the Ben Affleck, Jeff Johns Batman movie, you know, the script that WB had asked Matt Reeves to read, who would you hire? And let's assume that Affleck is not interested, so you can't pick him. My pick is Kathy Yan." Gabe Nakamura. Thanks, Gabe. All right, it's kind of a fun question. So they were still going to make the movie, but Ben's not going to direct. Who would you choose to direct? I feel like there's
terrible at this sort of thing.
Yeah, you are. You shouldn't be on a Batman podcast either, honestly. Well, Jamie, how about you? I have a hunch I know what Jamie's going to say. Let's see if I am right.
Well, I mean, for some reason I'm drawing a blank, but immediately where my mind went was, excuse me, Affleck was going to use Deathstroke as the villain in that movie.
Right.
And I'm still to this day heartbroken that the director of the Raid movies, whose name escapes me, is like Gareth Evans,
I think so. That sounds right.
I think is right, was going to do the Deathstroke movie, and I'm just shattered that never happened. So why don't we get him in there? Because I think if nothing else, it would be a visual spectacle with the fight sequences and such.
Okay, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
I know it's not, but I'm curious to see who you thought I was going to say.
I thought you were going to say Zack Snyder.
I mean, I'd be okay with that too. I mean, that's...
Maybe that's too easy. Well, I mean, it's a good question. I'm trying to think of who, you know, who would I think like evoke that same sort of tone?
Woody Allen, obviously.
Oh yeah, that checks out.
I kind of have an answer.
Go
I don't
for
know
it.
if it's a
Go
good
for
one,
it.
but so when I think about some of my favorite action movies that have got quite a good story that goes along with them, this person pops into my mind. Now, he has played in the DC universe.
Oh, I think I know what you're about to say, Bond.
And it wasn't the best, but I don't think that was all his fault either. And that's Martin Campbell.
See, okay, I picked up on that. All right. I'd be down with that.
We've said it right along, but I'm going to just say it one more time because I think more people need to hear it. That Green Lantern movie ain't all bad. I really kind of like that movie.
I was just thinking about that the other day. I like it too, but it's also been a while since I've revisited it. But we missed its 10-year last year. But one of these days we will visit on here. But I still like it.
Another guy who I think is just a really great director, and actually he's funnily enough who I want to see do the next Bond movie if Martin Campbell doesn't do it in terms of introducing a new Bond. And this guy's played in the Marvel universe, and that's Kenneth Branagh.
Interesting.
I like Kenneth Branagh.
It would be more of a drama than an action film, that's for sure.
I feel like action is maybe not his forte.
No, it's not.
So I was going to go with, and this was my choice before, this was my choice after Nolan, and I'm still sad it never happened, is I thought Brad Bird would make a great Batman movie. I don't necessarily...
I'd rather see Superman, but I'd still ride with you on that.
I don't necessarily know if he would have done Ben Affleck's Batman movie. I just think that he would have done a great Batman movie, especially after he did that Mission Impossible movie. I was like, man, give him Batman. I think he could be great. So that's where my mind went almost immediately. And
Shit, what's the guy who did the last two Mission Impossible movies?
Christopher
They're
McQuarrie.
fantastic. Yeah, they're fantastic action movies.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, Christopher McQuarrie would also knock it out of the park. But remember, he pitched a Superman movie with
Superman,
Cavill.
yeah.
Oh, and that still pisses me off that that's not happening. So,
too bad he didn't wait a couple years before he did that. But
yep. All right. Well, those are some answers. I know that I'm going to think of something later, but how about James Wan?
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Give all the movies to James Wan. I just feel kind of bad for James Wan because, like, I don't feel that bad for him because he's just awesome. But, like, he didn't get to cast the two leads of his Aquaman movie. You know, like, he was handed those people. And with Momoa, great. But again, going back to the conversation about Amber Heard, like, he never picked her. He was given her, and he's like, okay, I guess this is my Mara. So anyway, that's not.
He obviously didn't think enough to not. He obviously didn't think enough not to kick her out the door with the second movie.
Yeah,
so
I guess so.
It's not like he wouldn't have had the clout to do it by that point if he wanted to.
That's true. That's true. All right, moving forward, it's Mark Jurasevic. It says, "Hey, horny Batcasters." It says, I mean, holy, same difference.
Was that a Freudian slip, or did
He said that. It's a Freudian slip in his fingers.
Okay.
It says, I have a few comments inspired by your recent and always excellent episodes. Number 1, a holiday-themed Batman story, Thanksgiving with the Mad Hatter, story and art by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. I just think Neil Adams would draw a great Mad Hatter, and the Pilgrims are always portrayed with those big hats. 2, Batman versus anybody, regardless of franchise. I'd love to see Ben Affleck's Batman versus Iron Fist, played by Scott Adkins. And number 3, Batman versus Batman-inspired characters, Batman versus Moon Knight, or better yet, The Shroud. The Shroud is a blind, brilliant detective with martial arts training, similar to Iron Fist, and can draw upon other dimensional substantial darkness to defeat foes and conceal his escape. A great but underused Marvel character that looks fantastic. 4, Batman versus Manscape. Who trims the bat bush best? Take it easy. Keep up the great work, Mark. Thanks, Mark. No questions, just ideas. And what's funny is that in the request from Ryan Lauer last time about like, oh, you know, pick a artist and a writer and a Batman story, he didn't say anything about holidays. We just turned it into that because he started by going, I'm going to do a Halloween one. And I'm like, well, then I'll do a Christmas one. And then we started talking about Easter. And so the holiday thing was something I inadvertently added to the equation. But Ryan started that. All right. Next question is from Andrew Antis. It says, hey guys, right after I signed up for Patreon, I was listening to your Batman Q&A episode, and I was super bummed to hear about all the hate that you received after your review. I just want to say that this show has really inspired me to dig into the DC universe. I love when people turn things they're passionate about into something valuable for others, and that's exactly what this is. I know you've probably moved on, but I just wanted to send some support your way. I absolutely dig the show. Thanks, Andrew. I'll take the support. I'm not a proud man. It's always nice to hear nice words, and so thank you so much. And thank you for signing up for Patreon. He's another new patron. I didn't give you a shout out because I was like saving it for the next one, but yes, another new patron, Andrew Antis. Thank you, Andrew. That's amazing. You're wonderful. I definitely appreciate that. So thank you for being a patron. Thank you for your support. Thank you for loving the show. And yeah, dig into DC. It's super fun.
I feel like Bartles and James with this issue. We thank you again for your support. Remember those commercials?
Oh my God, barely, but yes. All right, one last.
But seriously though, it's cool that you guys keep reaching out and handing that off, because believe it or not, for some reason we get like one straggler a week that just wants to open that scab up, and to me it's almost funny at this point.
Yeah, right. It's like, I'm just listening, and now I want to fight. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to fight. I really don't.
I always feel like I want to fight, and then I type like these tirades, and then I erase them, and then I'm like, I'm going to try and play the sensible end of this, and it usually doesn't work out anyway. But anyhow, some people just want to be mad about being mad, I guess. Well, whatever.
They're fictional characters. I appreciate and acknowledge the irony that I spend way too much of my spare time dissecting and talking about fictional characters on a podcast. Trust me, I get it.
But there's doing that, and then there's the other.
But I also don't go looking for people who disagree with me so I can pick fights. I don't do that.
That's the difference.
I've got better things to do with my time, like chew glass, pull out my pubes with a rusty pair of pliers instead of manscaping.
That tickled Jamie.
Yeah, if I can make Jamie laugh, I've done something right for the day.
This episode has not been for nothing.
There you go. All right, one last email for real. This is from Tyler Kloster. It says, "Hey gang, I've come back to the podcast after some time away after having my love for all things Batman and DC rejuvenated by the new movie, and I've had a good time catching up. Andy, congratulations on your little one. I wanted to respond to a listener email question from the last episode about a great Batman evil twin story. Not sure how many of other listeners there are, as they say, of a certain age like myself, but I'm sure I will not be the only one writing in to say that the best and most beloved of such stories is a great one from the 80s called The Player on the Other Side. It was published in a Batman special in the early 80s. I think it took the place of a Batman annual that year, and it concerned a figure called the Wrath. The Wrath, who was Batman's opposite in almost every way. He came from a poor background, and as a boy saw his parents killed by the police on the same night that the Waynes were murdered. He grew up just as obsessed and driven as Bruce, but as the title suggests, on the other side. It was a great story, well written by Mike W. Barr, and with terrific art by Michael Golden. DC tried a new version of the Wrath early in the New 52 that, in my opinion, did not work quite as well, but that original story was great stuff and it was worth checking out. I believe it has been reprinted in a couple trade collections. Keep up the good work, and since so many of your listeners apologize for writing emails that are too long, let me hopefully be the first to say I'm sorry mine was so short. Peace, guys, Tyler. All right, Tyler, thank you so much. So what's funny is, after that email that we got last time about like an evil twin story, a few of our pals, two that will surprise you guys not at all, Jay Yaws and Robert Reinecke, they both recommended a Batman evil twin story, but I've not read it. They both recommended the same one. I've not read it yet, but I do wonder if it's this same one that Tyler just wrote about. But of course, Jay and Robert were there and ready to share with us. So very cool. I will look for this. I'm going to check it against the ones that Robert and Jay recommended and see if it's the same one, because that would be really funny if it was. But I appreciate the recommendation. The Wrath, the evil Batman. That's kind of fun. I assume you guys are not. What?
Does he have a goatee?
I hope so. But I'll tell you, I just thought of the Wraith, and I thought it was going to be Charlie Sheen driving a black
and
car, killing bad
the
guys.
race car thing. Yeah.
Yeah, remember The Wraith, the movie?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah. That was an 80s mainstay. So, anyway, cool. Recommendation from Tyler. Thank you for that. And that's it. Closing the Wayne Manor mailbox. We've done it. Woo! You know, it's funny. I thought this was going to be a short episode.
Bless your heart.
Stupid me. I'll never learn. Anyway, it is time to wrap it up. Thank you guys for writing in. As always good to hear from y'all. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. But that's it for this episode of the show. Always a good time. Brendan, thanks for staying awake. Or did you stay awake? I don't even know. You could be snoozing right now.
I stayed awake. I'm not going to lie, it was a struggle. I did bring some sugary snacks with me, though.
Yeah.
I did tell you guys before we started recording, I'm actually going to see the Batman again this afternoon with a friend.
Good luck with that if you're this tired.
Yeah, I'm going to have to tell, look, if I do fall asleep, just nudge me. But no, like I said, I haven't been on for a couple of weeks, so I wouldn't have missed it. It's just been a very busy couple of days with the party and everything, and then Henry not sleeping all that well at night. So, oh boy, I'm going to have a little nap, I think, before I go to the movies in a couple of hours, that's for sure.
Of course he's not sleeping well. You introduced him to that party life, and he just wants to stay up and boogie now.
Yeah.
Tell Henry that Uncle Andy says to cut the crap and let Daddy sleep.
Yeah. Well, it said Mummy's copping it worse than Daddy, but still, Daddy's it's all starting.
I care about Jess, but not like I care about you. So she's on her own.
Thank you.
Just put a giant rubber nipple on top of a Foster's oil can and hand it to him in the crib. He'll be out in 20 minutes.
I know why our grandparents gave us bourbon.
Yeah. For me, it's just been it's been like 3 or 4 days worth. It's just all hit me today.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all good. But no, look, I'm glad to be on the show anytime and always have a blast when it's the three of us. And if people want to see more of my exploits, they can always follow me on Twitter @Loey007 or catch me in the Real Fans groups.
Sweet. Jamie, thank you as well.
Yeah, it was a good time. It should have been a short episode, but Eric Carter screwed that up by sending in the Ezra Miller comment.
This is all your fault, Eric.
It is.
God damn you.
Now I don't feel bad about making him watch Critters for that show again.
Anyway, tell people where they can pick fights with you on Twitter.
You can pick fights with me at Loey007. Or if you want to have a civilized, normal conversation, you can find me at BatRaider3960. And you can also find me on Letterboxd. Search my name, Jamie Drewley, and you will see the ridiculous amount of movies that I seem to be watching lately with ratings and whatnot.
All right. Well, I already told you guys where to find me, but thank you as always for joining us. Thanks for downloading the show. We really appreciate it. Please do subscribe or follow the show wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts if you feel so inclined. Someone pointed me. We got a couple nasty ones after the Batman review, so that was nice. So if you want to help balance those out, write us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. We would appreciate that. Visit holybatcast.com. Find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. And again, if you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. He's great, he's awesome, and he's really good at what he does. And again, if you want to support the show in another way, completely unique, but also while treating yourself, please go to manscaped.com and use the promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. And as I said earlier, if they're running another sale, you get 2 discounts. Go do it. Buy yourself something nice. Use BATSCAPE, though. Please and thank you. That'll do it. On behalf of Brendan and Jamie, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
I just realized, Andy, I don't think I was following you on Letterboxd.
You
I am now, though.
Oh my God! What the hell? Well, I'm unfollowing you. Or wait, let me see if I was following you, because maybe I wasn't following you either. So, how do you like them apples? There we go. People following followers. Oh no, I was following you, you ingrate.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my God! Now
I think I just took.
now I feel like the desperate one. Following you all this time, you couldn't even follow me back. You couldn't even give me a pity follow.
Pity follow. Oh, good lord.